Hello and welcome back to the Pit Wall Podcast, where this week we talk about, I don't even know how to a hectic race, the Australian Grand Prix.
One of the most hectic in F1 history.
A record-breaking race in the least, I guess, happy way you could say.
I mean, it wasn't so bad for our teams, but yeah, it was something else. Most red flags in F1 history.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just want to say right off the bat, thank you for those who are messaging me, asking me where this podcast was. We're sorry. We're not going to say what, but him and I have had some time the last 2 weeks of just
It's been a rough one.
Crap happening to us, but we're here. And one other housekeeping thing before we start, I will be going to the Miami Grand Prix, which is 2 races from now. I will be leaving before Baku, so that our next podcast maybe won't have video. We're going to figure that out, but there will be one because it's a good one. There's a sprint race. There's a full race. It's going to be awesome. Checo will probably win. I don't know.
Yeah, first sprint race of the season. I'm excited.
But yeah, so anyway, but with that said, I will give us a quali in 60 if I can remember everything because it's been a hot minute. But I do have notes because I'm trying to get better at it. So here we go.
There you go.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, so the most notable thing right off the bat in this qualifying was that Checo Perez on his first lap crashed out of qualifying and thus would be starting from the back of the grid. He would later take an engine penalty for and start from the pit lane. An okay, kind of typical day for Haas and Williams down towards the bottom. But I think the other most notable thing is that Alex Albon got into P8, which is just incredible. And with no Red Bull, it was a fight for P2 and 3 because obviously Max Verstappen was going to get pole. He set a blazing and probably one of the most perfect laps I've ever seen if you watch his onboard. And shocker, honestly, to me and probably everyone else, is that Mercedes got P2 and P3 on the grid ahead of both Aston Martins and Ferraris. I was very pleased to see that. We will see what happens. Ferrari's claiming they're going to bring more pace, and maybe they'll be the quali champs next time. Boom. So yeah, it was an exciting quali. I was about to cry. Not really. But
I'm sure you were in this whole weekend.
Dude, well, we'll talk about it when we get to the red flags in the race, but there was a minute there where I was sniffing a Lewis Hamilton win, and it would have been sucky for Max, but I was very down for it. So,
oh yeah.
Before we get into the race, there's some interesting news that broke. I can't remember if it was before or after the race. Now, Are you familiar with? And for new listeners, and people new to the sport, I want to teach them. Do you know what Crashgate is from 2008?
I know what news you're talking about. I don't know exactly because I figured you were going to talk about it on the podcast, so I was going to wait to look it up and see what you had to say about it.
I have done my research. So the reason it has come up is because Felipe Massa heard some new news recently that they basically specifically did not look into this at the time, and he thought that they had fairly done it. So he is considering legal actions to overturn the 2008 championship because of one race in particular, the Singapore Grand Prix, where in this race, Nelson Piquet Jr. and Fernando Alonso were teammates, and they were having an absolutely terrible season at Renault, and Nelson Piquet Jr. crashed intentionally. It was pre-planned with the two, I can't remember their names, look it up, I'm blanking, two heads of Renault that ended up admitting to this later. They intentionally made Nelson Piquet Jr. crash so that Fernando Alonso, who pitted conveniently right before that, would have this crazy weird strategy that would work and give him, I believe it was his first race win, and I think their first podium of the season.
Wow.
Because they're having an absolute terrible year. And because of that, it cost Felipe Massa the win, and thus Lewis Hamilton beat him out in the championship in Brazil in dramatic fashion the following race. Ooh. So with that said, if he had won that race, he would have won the championship.
Yeah.
And the reason before they didn't contest it is F1 used to have a rule that's kind of weird when you think about it, but I also kind of get, which is once the trophy, the physical trophy, has been handed to the winner, it can no longer be contested. But they did not fairly rule before that. So he's considering, he's not saying he's going to do anything. He's just looking into it.
Yeah.
I find this very fascinating. And every time I try and stop talking about Abu Dhabi 2021, more evidence like comes out. So I'm just going to go right into it, which is that I'm offering a trade. No.
2008 for 2021.
Listen, I think the fairest thing to do in both of these situations is to make them ties. Boom. Everybody's happy. Felipe Massa also tie champion with Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis ties with Max. I mean, I know it's kind of like, it kind of sucks, but like it's the FIA's fault both times. So
that's fair.
I think that's the only fair way, because it's not fair to take it away from either of them at this point. So I don't know. It could get interesting. So the reason that 2021 has become more relevant is because that rule does not exist with the trophy thing.
Yeah.
And now the former race director, sorry, not race director, F1 director said for the I'm blanking on his name too. I'm failing at this. I'm sorry, but this is true.
Michael?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. No, he's the race director. I'm talking about the F1 president before Stefano. He specifically said that they intentionally did not they did not listen to Mercedes and take any information from them and try to help them at all, but they did listen to Red Bull.
Is it Chase?
No, I'm blanking on his name.
It's the only one I found before.
Okay, well, anyway. It's either the F1 president or the FIA president. They're like they're interchangeable.
The
so
CEO.
Anyway, so basically, I think it's the CEO of F1.
Okay.
Basically, he said that they listened to Mercedes. They did not listen to Mercedes. They did not take Toto's call. They didn't but they listened to Red Bull.
Yeah.
And they took Christian's call. So now it's like, it's a back again.
Yeah.
Like every 5 minutes. And yesterday, I think I sent you a screenshot. There's this petition that had like 2,000 signatures that yesterday got 57,000 more signatures.
That's insane. And when it started
it started like 2 days after the race. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's never going to
brought
end.
it back up.
Yeah, Crashgate. So I don't know. There's no way they can overturn 2008 without also looking at 2021.
They'd have to look at it, but man,
I don't think at this point it's too late. Like, as much as I want Lewis to have more things, like in 2008,
I don't know what would be worse. Like, what would cause more uproar though? Because either taking away one from Lewis Hamilton or like changing 2021.
I don't know. I think, like I said, I think they would have to do both.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
That'd be tough.
So anyway, that has nothing to do with Australia, but that's just like one of the main things that are being talked about right now, because I mean, Crashgate's like one of the biggest scandals of F1 of all time. I mean, Renault almost got a big ban from that.
Yep.
So, and those two guys ended up leaving Renault's team immediately. So, but yeah, so
that's crazy to think about.
I think we should. So what's interesting is it would take Alonso's like a win away from Alonso too. Like, it's still very relevant.
Yeah.
So, and it would give Ferrari a championship that they didn't have. Like, it's like, anyway. So, because I think they won constructors, I'm pretty sure. So, anyway, and last little thing before we get into the specifics of the race. So, Daniel Ricciardo was there. Woohoo, Daniel Rick.
Yeah.
He was
good to see him.
Yeah, and he's already says he has a seat. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And he also separately said that he only wants to race with a top team. And I'm like, what team has a spot for him? Because it's not Red Bull.
It's not Mercedes.
It's not Ferrari. They got contracts too. Unless Leclerc leaves. But I don't think he's going to.
There's no shot he's going back to Alpine.
But like, that's not a top team.
Well, not
Aston?
this year.
But the Stroll would have to leave, or Alonso, and Alonso has a contract.
Yeah.
I don't.
That would have to be another buyout, which probably isn't going to happen.
And they're not going to do it to
after,
Alonso. Yeah.
And Stroll's definitely not leaving.
Exactly.
What top? Imagine
exactly.
he's like,
see what I'm
McLaren
saying? He goes to Haas anyway.
Oh God.
Well,
I would have full on
Audi, but like, would he consider Audi?
Did he say for 2024?
He said next year. I know. It makes no sense.
I'm so confused.
Because even if you considered McLaren a top team that he just left, which he obviously wouldn't go back to, but let's just take all that aside, they also have a contracts. So the only team that has availability in the top would be Alpine, Ocon, maybe.
Yeah, that's
but I think his contract's 2 years also.
Yeah.
So the silly season is not going to be a thing this year unless everybody breaks all their contracts, which is kind of what happened last year anyway. Because I mean, Gasly signed for AlphaTauri and then left.
Yep.
So, which I didn't even know was like, what's the point of that contract?
Who knows? I'm sure he had to pay something, but
I don't know. Well, the team
the team
would have been liable.
Alpine. Yeah.
They're also considering. Well, not considering. They're going to. So we've heard all this news about AlphaTauri, all this stuff. They're going to rebrand AlphaTauri once again.
Really?
At some point. Yeah, because they said only like 5 places that they go. Franz Tost said this, who's the team principal of AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
He said that they're going to rebrand again because only 5 places or so that we race actually sells AlphaTauri clothing. So they're like, it's kind of a waste.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means. I don't know what they would call it. It's got to be Red Bull related, and AlphaTauri was the only other like obvious thing. I think they should go for green Red Bull personally. I don't know though. Any ideas?
I have no clue what to think about when because I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not even sure what they would rebrand to off of their.
Maybe they just go back to Toro Rosso.
Yeah, that's the only.
That's what I hope. I wish they would do.
That'd be pretty cool.
Even I love
Have
their
4
car.
Red Bull colored cars.
I like their old. I always like Toro Rosso's car better than Red Bull's.
Yeah,
they always say like something cool with it.
It changes every year.
Yeah,
a little bit.
And you don't like AlphaTauri's car, so
yeah.
Even though I like it, so
I mean, it's not bad. It's just among the worst. Okay, I mean it is bad, but it's not the worst.
I mean,
It's
when the
among
Alfa
the
Romeo
worst.
and Haas look the exact same when it's driving down the straight.
Yeah,
people
but
are
they
complaining
also
about
look
that.
good.
Yeah, they do. See, I can tell the difference immediately.
Yeah,
people are constantly arguing like that's not. No, it's not. It's Haas.
I still stick by what I say when I look at Haas racing. I just see a Renault that isn't yellow.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you think? So also this happened. I can't remember if this happened before the last race or not. The whole Haas is dealing with Russia thing.
Oh, like
The Haas's automotive company is.
Yeah.
There's been a claim
because
that they're violating sanctions with Russia.
Yep.
Which Gene Haas, what happened to? Or no, sorry, Gunther was like, no more Russians.
Yep.
I'm never going to deal with her.
Gene's like, well, you can say that.
If this is true, it is likely that F1 will force them to sell the team if it's true, and that means to me that Andretti would come in. I think,
Like right then and there, you think for
they
next
would buy it
season?
immediately. It'd be perfect.
Ooh,
Be perfect.
wait.
They're
So would
already
they do
based
that
in North.
mid-season?
No, well, I don't know.
That'd be tough.
I mean, Force India got sold mid-season that one time.
Yeah, and that was because of allegations of
that was
the money laundering.
So that was
I think,
even
or something
worse,
like that.
honestly. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say which is worse, but
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they force them to sell. I'm starting to think that's the only way Andretti is going to get a team, and I'm also starting to see Haas is hopeless.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's one thing I've been worried about as well. I think Gene is either that's going to happen or Gene's giving up within the next year or two.
yeah, and Gene might just sell it anyway.
Yeah.
and Andretti is going to be the first call.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's based in North Carolina. Like it's already like if we're talking about what if he buys AlphaTauri? Well, their headquarters is in Italy.
Yep.
So it's like
It's not really worth.
this would be perfect for them. So
Yeah.
anyway, it'll be interesting. Haas has never been like a true constructor anyway,
Yeah.
because they've always been like a piecemeal team. So I would like to see another true constructor. I don't want to lose Haas. Don't get me wrong. I like Haas, but
As
I
long
think-
as we can keep Gunther, I'm good.
Yeah, Gunther needs to be team principal.
No
of
matter
Andretti.
what.
Yes, 100%.
I just need Gunther as a team principal.
I want Drive to Survive canceled if Gunther is gone.
Exactly.
That's
Either
not
that
true.
or he just needs to be our commentator.
Yes, he needs to be the Will Buxton.
Exactly.
Dude, that would be incredible. Oh my god. Gunther, come on our podcast.
Imagine.
All right. Anyway, all right. Into the teams. Tell me about how Red Bull was at this race.
Like you said in quali, Max just kind of he showed out. Not at the start of the race though. He actually got overtaken
Double overtake, baby.
by Mercedes.
Let's go, dude. You have to know. So I watched this live. So this started at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So
I started it live. I fell asleep though.
I stood up and
I was
started
so tired.
screaming the second that because
Yeah.
I knew that was going to be my only success for the race because I knew he was going to catch him.
Yeah.
But I was like, yes, let's go. Like I was like,
Once I saw that, I knew that you were because like every time I've watched a race with him, anything good happens with Mercedes, it's screaming.
Well, see, you've only watched races with me when Mercedes was bad. See, like when Lewis won every race, I'd be like,
oh, kind
yeah,
of like
let's
how
go.
I am now with Red Bull. Yeah. Well, I don't know if Checo does good. I'm like,
yeah, Checo's exciting.
yeah.
Anyway,
But he got overtaken in lap 1, but after lap 12, he was already back to the lead, and then just finished P1. Checo, like you said, started in the pit lane, so P20, got to P5, and having the fastest lap of the race.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So that's pretty cool for him, like mega race for him, especially with the circumstances.
The amount
like
of
a
wrecks,
pit stop start.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
the amount of wrecks he had to avoid.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, of course, the red flags probably helped a lot.
Yeah,
But still, getting from P20 to P5 is insane.
so
Especially for the people that like doubt Checo still as a driver.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So
Yeah, people are finding that TikTok that we did about is Checo the worst of the top 3?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like blowing it up.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not new. Look at the date.
Yeah.
So I think we can safely say at this point, Checo is not the worst.
Oh no,
But
not at all.
Who is?
I can't say. You said of the
Sainz?
top 3 teams.
So here's the thing: is
Mercedes,
the top 3
Ferrari, Red Bull.
The top 3 teams have changed now because
Okay.
Stroll is the worst out of the top 4 teams.
Yes,
For sure.
Yes,
No doubt.
but if we were talking about who we were at the time, which is Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes,
Sainz is the worst.
yes, I agree because Leclerc might have less points right now, but that's because of DNFs.
Yeah, but Leclerc was leading the championship.
No,
last year.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you could argue George Russell's worse because he has less race. Wait, no, they have the same amount of race wins.
Mm-hmm.
I take it back. George Russell has a
No, I've told
Yeah.
you. I've already got on the
Yeah.
George Russell is
George Russell's race win was in a
dang good
worse
driver.
car. Yeah, George Russell's the best.
Mhm.
So, Red Bull, are you concerned because did you watch practice 3? Because okay, Checo crashed, but not crashed, like put it in the gravel 6 times.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Are you concerned? Because that's a car issue.
Oh,
that
yeah.
has to be. Checo is not that bad.
No.
That's
Max
Latifi
was
doesn't
even saying
need
that he was having car issues,
Yeah,
like
with shifts.
on that corner.
So, are you concerned? Is this a long-term problem?
I'm a little concerned, but like,
Even a problem isn't that big of a problem for you right now.
well, no, because like, yes, they're in the lead by a great margin right now, but like, it's the 3rd race.
Yeah, and Leclerc.
There's 20. What is there? 20
races.
Yeah. So 20 more left.
And Leclerc was leading by like 80
A lot
or
can change.
60.
Yeah,
This
and
time
also
last year.
there's the what is it? The P1, P2, P1 start curse.
Yes, it's true. If it happens this year, it is a true
It's
curse.
true.
Yeah.
No, if it happens to Max and in the Red Bull this year,
Yeah, because last year I saw the Ferrari win, and I was like, well, we'll see.
yeah,
But this year I was like, all right, give him the trophy. Like, it hurt me.
yeah, he said that. He's like, we'll focus on next year.
Yeah. Well, talking about Mercedes, they had a great start. I was very, very excited.
Oh yeah,
I'm proud of Lewis because he changed his racing style a little bit. He said he was going to be a lot more aggressive, and he basically pulled a Max Verstappen on him and like almost shoved him off,
Yep.
but left him room. He didn't hit him, and I was so happy to see.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I knew people were going to be like, a little bit. And then I see so many, like, I never chime in, but on Twitter, there's constantly Max and Lewis fans
yeah.
to this day.
Oh
just, like,
yeah,
fight, like, oh, he did this, and then they'll show like the clip from Brazil 2021 where like Max shoved Lewis like an entire track's width off of the track, just stuff like that. But no penalties for either, so it's like whatever,
yeah.
I was very excited for that. Obviously, George Russell did not have a great day, unfortunately. It was looking like a double podium for Mercedes, I think, barring any restart crap. That is the first Mercedes engine DNF that wasn't hydraulic, because that's happened about 4 times I've ever seen,
Really?
as far as I can remember. But correct me if I'm wrong. I've been watching since 2017. Can anybody recall that kind of DNF? Because I don't. So based on what I'm saying is I'm not currently worried. No one else has had any issues. None of the,
I think it was a one-time fluke.
Yeah, service teams. It just sucks that it was
Yeah.
then. But like Aston hasn't had any complaints. Williams hasn't had any complaints. If I see another, I'll be very concerned.
Yeah.
But I'm giving them one mulligan because I wasn't on Ferrari's case at this point either last year. So, but it was sad.
Yeah, for sure.
But also I wanted Lewis to beat George, so it's like,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, it was looking like a double podium for Mercedes.
Mhm.
Lewis had a very strong P2. Like he fought Alonso the entire race.
Mhm.
I mean, he was like, I don't know how closely you were watching the numbers, but like it would be like 1.1 and then Lewis to pull ahead to like 1.5. Like they were battling
Yeah.
the entire time.
It was
And
a good one.
Alonso afterwards said like he showed how true world champion he is because like he like out strategicked Alonso,
Yeah.
who also had
Strategic.
the big brain moment of the race, which we'll talk about in a minute, when he like instantly remembered this very specific example from like a long time ago. But we'll get to that. I'll
Okay.
bring that up. Anyway, so yeah, good race. Lewis was sad when his team. I don't know why his team wasn't in the pit. Everybody's like making a big deal about
Well,
this.
okay. Well, do you have more to say about that?
No.
Okay. Well, I thought this exact same thing until did you see what happened at the track
No.
where people rushed
Oh,
onto
yes.
the I think they were dealing with locking down the garage to make
Keep
sure
the car
nothing was
safe.
stolen.
Yeah.
Which is I don't know if like I've only seen stuff saying that to like
Gotcha.
help their case. So that could be a possibility. Nothing's like been shown like
Mercedes
to prove
isn't
that, but
shunning
like,
Lewis. Yeah.
but yeah, exactly. Like he's their godchild. I mean, their star.
yeah.
They're like their hands and knees.
Well,
for
everybody's
him.
all like, "Is he gonna leave?" Because like they're like Red Bull. Because like Christian Horner's having to answer questions like, "Would you bring him to Red Bull?" And then Toto's. They're like, "Do you have a plan B?" And Toto's like, "We have no plan B if Lewis leaves." It's like,
Yeah.
well, and everybody quotes that as if he's saying Lewis is gonna leave.
Yeah,
Lewis is not gonna leave.
No.
He's either gonna retire or sign another contract.
exactly.
And I don't think he's gonna retire.
Yeah.
And if he does, I'm gonna be very upset.
I don't think he's gonna retire this year.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But yeah, that's the only explanation I found
That's a good point.
covering that. But like, it is a serious thing. Like, I 100% could believe that because if someone's rushing onto like the paddock when you have millions and millions of dollars worth of gear, the car, I mean everything, I'm locking it down.
Yeah. Well, the last thing about Mercedes, so George, for the first safety car, George got screwed because he pitted and then red flag immediately.
Yep.
So his race wasn't over. I mean, he might have been able to recover P5 worst case scenario, probably P3.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's talk about Ferrari.
Yeah, let's talk
next.
about Ferrari, the first incident.
So Leclerc got hit by Stroll in lap 1.
Yep.
And bada bing, bada boom. Leclerc is now DNF 2 out of 3 races. That's terrible.
I want to add, speaking of Leclerc, stop going to his house.
Oh yeah, stop going to Leclerc's house.
I don't know if anybody doesn't know, he posted on his Instagram story, or maybe just all of his socials, but I saw it on his Instagram that people have been coming to his house and asking for autographs and pictures.
Why is it just Leclerc? He has watch stolen, like just all this
Dude,
stuff.
this
It
man
must
has
be
had
because
it
he
rough.
lives in Monaco. It's so
Yeah.
small. He's like hometown boy.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can think of. That's rough though.
that's wild.
He's even nice enough to say, "I will sign and take all the pictures you want outside of my house."
Yeah.
Like you would think, like, hey, just do it at the racetrack or something like that. Like he's gone a step further than that.
Yep.
So, stop going to his house. But anyway, he was out, and that caused the first red flag, which caused the first restart.
Yep.
Which was very exciting, and I don't believe did any wrecks happen on the first the second start, the first restart. I don't think so.
No, not at that.
All the crap
because
happened
it
in
was,
the second one.
Yes, exactly, because it was Charles first and then Alex.
Okay, so how was Sainz's race? Tell us about good old worst of the top 3.
The worst of the top 3. It was tough for Sainz today. Had a good race and was 4th at the final restart, but then was handed a 5-second penalty for causing a collision, which he was furious about.
Yeah.
That so furious he couldn't even talk to the media, and he said, "I'll answer your questions later. I'm here because I have to be. I'm going to talk to the stewards." And then that was it. And he went and talked to the stewards, and nothing came about.
He didn't want that $12,000 penalty or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
exactly. I'm here so I don't get fined.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. Yeah, that was something.
It was with the collision was with Alonso, who also agreed that he shouldn't have been handed that penalty.
So, what do you think?
It's one of those things where they've called it a racing incident before,
Yeah.
and then it's like a pick and choose thing. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, it's difficult because well, I'll just go ahead and say it like Alpine double DNF'd.
Yep.
One of them hit the other one.
Yeah.
No penalty.
Yep.
So, it's very I don't know.
It's weird how the stewards act.
Yeah, I
honestly.
agree. They're schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? My dad texted me because my dad watched it that night, which I wasn't expecting because he's in Eastern, so he's an hour
okay.
ahead. So she started at 1 a.m.
Wow.
He texted me and he said, so Michael Massey was at the track this weekend, and he
yeah.
said Michael Massey's pure presence ruined this race.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. On that second red flag, who caused the second red flag?
That would be Alex Albon.
Yeah.
Who crashed at turn 7.
Yeah. So he had an issue with tire temperature. He said that is interesting. I don't buy that entirely, but
Could be something else. I didn't.
he had an amazing quali, and their straight line speed is ridiculous.
Oh yeah. They
So
looked good.
they could have a really good Baku, I think.
Dude, watching the practice and even qualifying, turn 7 destroyed people.
Oh yeah, that's
that
a
gravel
rough-
pit is insane.
Have you raced it on the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've crashed there like 12 times.
so
Yeah.
many times.
Less than Checo, but no, I'm just
Oh,
kidding. So anyway, tell us about, since we're kind of talking about it, tell us about Ocon's race.
Oh yeah. Well, if you watched it, you know, but he DNF'd after Gasly kind of, ran into him.
He cut across.
Yeah, he cut across, and Gasly actually he locked up before that, and then I think just had trouble getting back into or just getting control of the car again. Ended up just hitting the back of Ocon, causing them both to DNF.
Yeah.
That's rough, man.
That's a
Because
tough.
it's Alpine's taking each other out. You always hate when a team takes itself out. So
This is one of the more, this is another one of those iconic moments. Like in 2018, 2 Red Bulls hit.
yep,
With Danny Rick and Max Verstappen.
yeah, I remember that.
2016 was the famous one that got Max Verstappen his first win when both Mercedes crashed into each other. Like this doesn't happen that often.
Lewis and Valtteri.
No, Lewis and Nico.
That's right, Nico. was
At
there. And then
the
when did
Barcelona?
Bottas join Mercedes?
After that, 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nico said, "I beat Lewis. Goodbye."
Yeah.
So yeah, Gasly cut across and hit, and they both apologized. I don't think Ocon had anything to apologize for, but at least I think they got to. Everybody was saying there was going to be tension in that team for some reason. I don't think that exists.
Yeah.
I think they're
They
cool.
seemed pretty cool as teammates, at least social, like online.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Bottas, he finished P11 out of 12 finishers, the first to not get points. Big oof.
Yeah.
Alfa Romeo is not looking too great this season.
I was really hopeful
Me
at
too.
the start because weren't they doing like pretty decent in testing?
Yeah, they looked good.
I mean, obviously not like the best,
Yeah.
but like better than this.
I mean, last year they came to testing with a car that was camouflaged
Yeah.
because it wasn't ready.
Yeah.
They had no sponsors on it. It was barely ready. This year they come put together. It looks like a solid car.
Yeah.
Really sad. I don't know what's going to happen with that team. I don't know if they're just like throwing a mulligan until they become Audi at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I mean, there's a lot of management stuff that happened.
Yeah, for sure.
They had the whole reveal controversies. So like, who knows? How was Joe Guanyu's race?
It was pretty good actually for him because we saw him get P9. So Alfa Romeo did get some points,
More
at
than
least
Ferrari.
from the chaotic race. But they got something out of it. It wasn't from Valtteri, but they got it from Joe.
Yeah, I mean, with 8 cars DNFing, they inherited
Yeah.
something.
Like you have to. Well, I mean, they could have been the 2 that didn't get points, but
Yeah, thanks,
luckily
Sainz.
they weren't. Yeah.
Well, Sainz didn't entirely help it, but
Yeah.
So what caused the second red flag or the third red flag?
Yeah. Second was Albon.
Okay, well, K-Mag hit the wall in just the stupidest fashion I've ever seen. when I saw K-Mag hit the wall like that, I was so confused. Like, I don't even know how he managed to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he hit and he ended up crashing in the same place that he went off in 2018 when his wheel fell off after his pit stop, where Haas was going to have a P4, P5 finish.
Yeah.
So I think K-Mag officially has an Australia curse. That it's just Australia is just not is his worst track. I think like it is his curse.
Yeah.
I don't know how he hit the wall like that. I just don't. I've watched it 10 times. I don't know how he did it, but he caused another red flag.
Mm-hmm.
So, how was I'm blanking. Nico Hulkenberg. I kept thinking Rosberg.
Pretty good, actually. Thanks to the circumstances, Hulkenberg got himself a P7, got Haas some points, even after K-Mag sadly hit the wall. He survived the final restart, which is good to say.
And Haas was contesting it
Yeah.
because there was a minute there where he almost had his first podium.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Because he was starting in P4, I
Yeah.
think. So how do you feel about how they handled this restart? For those who didn't watch, basically what happened was they all drove and crashed and all this crap happened. And there's like a big reshuffle from like P5 down.
Yeah.
And it like totally took the Astons out of the points, like stuff like that. So, but they didn't get to the sector 1 line, and because of that, they had to. The FIA has no order they can refer back to.
Yeah.
So they were forced to start from the order that they started in on the second restart, and minus the cars that were gone.
Yeah.
Do you think they did the right thing in this instance? Like, it's very tough because thing is, like, it screwed over some people, but it helped other people. Like,
Yeah.
I was hoping they wouldn't because Aston was going to be out of the points and Mercedes needed that, and then it didn't happen.
I don't know how to think about this because, like, if they didn't and they just had it like let's say it, like looked at a frame like
Yeah.
the last second before the wreck, and you look at the people.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough because like they would have to like if anybody made an overtake within that sector, I think that's why they can't do that.
Well, and then I was also thinking like, well, then they have to reset the lap, but the lap had already happened because honestly, dude, the thing that upset me the most about all of this was the fact that on the restart was I thought Lewis could win the race.
Oh yeah.
They had everybody had fresh tires, but Lewis proved that he could overtake Max and there's going to be no DRS. Cause obviously one lap of DRS, that's it. Lewis loses.
Yeah.
But there wasn't going to be. So I was like, there's a chance Lewis wins this race.
Mhm.
And I was getting very excited. And then they were like, nah, we're just going to drive behind the safety car, which I think is the right thing. They did the right thing. But even though it was like super weird, everybody's always like, well, why do you have to finish it? Or like, why can't you just say it's over?
Mhm.
Well, K-Mag is a perfect example of that. He almost DNF'd on that lap, and he stopped his car on the end lap after the race.
Yeah.
So that's why they got to do it. So anyway, I think they did the right thing. And with that said, how was Alonso's race? Because we haven't really talked about it, other than him getting hit or hitting somebody or getting hit.
He got another podium. So
3 in a row.
yeah, that's awesome for Aston Martin. Awesome for him. I've been thinking about like, do you think he's trying for another championship before he retires? Or do you think he's just like in it?
See, he said he doesn't know when he's going to retire.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure
don't
he
know.
would take it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he wants another championship. I'm not saying he doesn't, but like there are drivers who know they're not going to win another championship probably, or that they are not in contention for one and are probably going to retire beforehand, but are just still racing because like
I
they think they still have something.
this
in
is
them.
his last contract. I'll say it that way. And
How
I
long
think
was this one for? 2
years, I
Yeah.
believe. I think he's lucked into, or maybe he knew something we didn't, but I don't know. Alonso hasn't made good career moves in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say he looked into it.
That's fair.
He lucked into it, and now he's going for it. I don't know if he'll get another race win. you asked me 5 minutes ago, I would have said that I was really worried about Aston, but this race made them look not great.
Yeah.
I mean, better than most other people on the grid. But before, I was thinking they were gonna kill Mercedes.
Yeah.
And if Mercedes can just make it through Baku before they have their and Miami,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting Baku and Miami close.
Yeah.
I think Mercedes upgrades are gonna work.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. So I don't know if Alonso's going to go for a championship or not.
Yeah.
I think this is Aston's year if they have a chance. So, and I don't think Max loses.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Red Bull loses. I'm throwing Checo a bone here. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Stroll finished P4. He hit Leclerc at the beginning of the race and got no penalty.
Yeah.
But Sainz got a penalty.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They pick and choose, so it's a little rough.
Basically the same way.
Yep.
And he got extremely lucky they didn't hit the sector 1 line, or he would have been screwed.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess Stroll would say it's a good race. I mean, they are up 9 points on Mercedes right now because of Russell.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that was basically it. How was let's talk about McLaren because they're pretty interesting. How was Lando?
Well, they finally got points.
Yep.
So that's good. Lando got P6. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can put this because I don't think if this was a normal race, normal by meaning no red flags at least, I don't think they would have been close to that. So good job, McLaren, for surviving.
Woo! Hey, and Piastri got points at home in Australia, which Daniel Ricciardo did not do the last time he was here.
That's true.
So Aussie, are McLaren's troubles over?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, hold on. Okay, let me make my pitch for McLaren.
Okay.
I don't think they are either, but I'm taking devil's advocate.
Okay.
They're up. They're like supposed to be the place we should have started, according to Lando Norris. Is supposed to come in Baku. So they eked out a points finish here. They just jumped 3 teams by nature of no points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they make a comeback now.
I mean, that's fair.
Or do you not have faith?
If that is no, I mean, I have faith that McLaren can bring it back. Obviously not to a high standard.
Yeah.
Or I don't have them at a high standard based off the start of this season
at best.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
But
P6 at best. Alpine's
Really?
gonna fish out of them.
You think Alpine will?
Yeah. So Red Bull, Mercedes, and Aston, then Ferrari. That's 4.
Yeah.
Then Alpine. It's a P6 probably.
Okay. I mean, I can see that.
That's my
For
best
sure.
guess. Now Ferrari's claiming a bunch of crap for this next. They're gonna have a 1.1 second speed, which would make them faster than Red Bull. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. McLaren could be better.
Who knows, man?
I'm expecting them to be better, but I also think
you continue.
no. Go ahead.
I feel like they're going to be better, but better isn't hard when you have that.
Well, they finished.
Yeah.
That's funny. I don't know, like, if McLaren, they're supposed to have all these new people coming in. Maybe next year they'll be better. Everybody, Lando is looking like a sad sheep right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So
He's sticking with him. He said the other day that he has no plan of leaving McLaren.
Well, tell us about AlphaTauri.
I'm actually going to cover 2 with this
Okay.
because they evolve. I'm going to talk about Nick and Logan.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to talk about Logan first because he kind of caused it. At the final restart of the race, we had the start before they got to sector 1, or what was it? Turn.
I don't remember which turn it is.
I can't remember. Either way,
It's
Logan Sargent.
first sector.
Yeah. In the first sector, Logan locked up and just went straight into the back of Nick DeVries, which caused them both to DNF. So that was a rough day for our rookies, other than Piastri, of course. So that's another 2 DNFs to add to the list. But Nick DeVries said it can happen. Everyone can make a mistake and misjudgment, and it's a racing incident. We'll move on and hope for a better race next time. So at least he's not, super upset. Or I mean, I'm sure he's upset, but he didn't get mad about it at Logan because it happens. That
4 starts in a race. Something's gonna happen.
yeah, it's crazy, man.
Logan he was doing pretty well. I mean, I'm starting to get more worried again because like Albon's just out qualifying him by 10 places.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sucked. America. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that video you sent of them ramming.
What's a meter? I gotta find this. I'm gonna find this real quick so I can explain it a little bit.
Oh man. Well, I'll go ahead and cover Yuki really fast.
Yeah,
so
go
Yuki barely got points, but he got points. And Franz Toss is already saying that Yuki is the next man up for a Checo seat, which I find that hard to believe given that Liam Lawson, which I texted you about, this man looks ridiculous. Sorry, I'll let you put it in just a second. He looks.
No, you're good.
He won all of his debuts. Homie is the next Max Verstappen of Red Bull.
Yeah, he texted me this the other day, and I was like,
it's ridiculous.
sorry?
Look into him.
Yeah.
And he's a Red Bull junior already like committed. So he would have to Red Bull would have to release him, which I don't see that happening. Anyway, tell us about Logan.
Yeah. So, you can't see this really, or I don't want to play it just in case, because I don't know if they scream it or not. But it says, like from his race engineer, Logan, remember to brake at least 100 meters before the corner. Logan says, "What the f is a meter, America?"
And then it's playing the America.
Yeah.
Song. Yeah.
It's great.
Is that everybody? I think that's everybody.
That's everybody that I've covered.
Yeah, I think that's everybody. So,
yeah.
Who would you say your winner and loser of this race is? It's a lot of losers.
This is a tough one.
Wait, no, I have one more thing. Sorry.
Okay.
Hold on. At the last restart,
Yeah.
everybody was like, Max was over the line. And let me tell you, I was getting excited because I thought
yeah.
he was going to get to penalty. But I don't think he was. There was no sensors.
Yeah.
But you can look at the picture. Like, it looks suspicious.
Yeah.
But the sensors have caught everybody every other time.
Yeah.
So, but I would have said, as a Lewis fan, I still would say if Max had lost this race, he would have got screwed because he had to do all these restarts and all this stuff. And man, like he
would have been furious.
30 seconds ahead, like just on autopilot.
Yeah.
He's probably got one eye closed, texting Kelly, and then all of a sudden he's like, red flag. That's the wrong color, Anyway, so, all right, winner and loser.
Winner and loser. This is a tough one. I think winner will. It's hard for me because it's between two people. It's either Lewis or McLaren. Lewis, because obviously first podium of the season.
You can give it to them both.
To them both?
Yeah.
All right, Lewis and McLaren. We're gonna give him that because McLaren got points for the first time. Maybe that'll give him a little push in the back to, strive
or
to
they
do
get
better.
complacent. We'll see.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. And then Lewis, of course, first podium of the season. It's great for Mercedes. So.
Yeah, I'm also going to give it to Lewis. I'm going to give it to Lewis and Max. I think Max did an underrated job in this race.
Yeah.
Despite he got overtaken,
Yeah.
he was also playing it safe, which I understand. I think he's going to be better friends with Lewis after all of this because I think he's going to understand what Lewis went through, which is like all of the pressure to like, if the only reason I'm not going to win is if I F up and don't bring this car.
Yeah.
So like so anyway, I'm giving props to both of them. Lewis, great podium, looking like there's a potential for a win sometime this season. Red Bull has had terrible sprint race weekends.
Yeah.
So but I don't know.
It can happen.
I don't know. I think Red Bull could literally stop in Sector 2 and then continue to drive and will still win Baku because Sector 3 is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
So I can't wait to see their times. And then loser, I'm gonna.
There's only one part. The one.
I'm gonna give it to Sainz.
Yeah, I was gonna give it to Ferrari.
Yeah, Sainz. I think he just got screwed. You're gonna give it to Ferrari.
Yeah, just because of their DNF and then the penalty. That's just a rough weekend for Ferrari.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the next race. So, there's teams bringing updates. Mercedes is waiting because there's not enough practice time. Oh, one little note. They're not doing this, but they've proposed a new sprint race weekend, which I think I can live with. I do kind of like it, but
Like how it is, or you like
how it
the new
is
one?
now.
Okay.
But this one would be how F2 does stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing an F2 race in Miami, but I am seeing one in England when I go. So
Nice.
I'm excited for that. So, and maybe F3, I'm not sure. So, and I know absolutely nothing about F3. So other than who's won. Basically, here's how it would work. Friday, practice, then qualifying for the race. Then Saturday, qualifying again for the sprint race.
Yep.
And then the sprint race. That's all self-contained. The sprint race no longer would set the grid,
Yeah.
which I get. But as a person who's currently rooting for a team that isn't the best, it's actually better the more racing laps there are, which is why I like the other format better. But they're sticking with the original format for this weekend because it's too fast for Pirelli to make enough tires for a second qualifying to be practice, qualifying, regular qualifying, sprint qualifying, sprint race, and then I think there's another practice. It's very confusing. Like it's hard to like get it exactly right.
Yeah.
But that's as far as I can remember, and then that will set the thing. So if Red Bull has trouble, okay, no, I was wrong. It's practice, qualifying, then there's another practice before the sprint race.
Yep.
Now I will say that practice is totally useless. They're in Parc Ferme at that point, but I guess they want to do some. I don't know what it's for. And then Saturday, the sprint race, Sunday, the race. So, anyway, that is about it. Any predictions, thoughts, feelings for the next race? It's too long away. I want it to come now.
Yeah. I'm not sure on this one.
This is my dad's favorite track. Baku is my dad's favorite track.
Checo wins.
You think so?
Yeah.
If they get through the sprint, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I could see that. He won, was it last year? No, he won when Lewis screwed up in 2021. So yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. As always, thanks for watching. Subscribe, all that stuff. Lots of stuff coming on TikTok. I'm going to be making a ton of content in Miami because even when I'm off of work for a week, I can't help myself. So at the Pit Wall Pod, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.